God forbid, right? He retired.
Yep.
So this is the guy 3 Michael Graves.
Even better. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. He was a great sports kid. And I thought I understood enough until I just realized, well,
If I stand by you, am I walking?
No, in fact, I'm in front of the camera, but I can't get it further over, so it's short.
you know, usually when I was first on the ground.
Yeah.
But
I know, it's like a
competition.
Stu, what did you say your own hobbies?
I got a little bit with the grandpa spaghetti. And that was still
I
not
think he's
safe.
gonna be the star of the lobster.
I'll be the star, my back of them.
I don't think there's cameras in use. If you wanna.
Actually, that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're not gonna get that. Now, really get it back. Oh, now, yeah, this is even worse. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Todd Matthews with the Bailey Glasser Law Firm. Today with me is Jerome Block and Jacob Gordon from the Levy Koenigsberg firm, and Rachel Bussett is with us from the DiCello firm. Today we're here to talk yet again about lawsuits that we've filed against the state of Illinois and Cook County for juvenile sex abuse that happened while these gentlemen and ladies were in the facilities owned by the state and the county. These abuses are horrific in nature. You can read the complaints that we filed and see the nature of the complaints that we're talking about. They range everything from just horrific rape allegations on down. This, folks, is the 4th time we've appeared before you in a press conference, and will not be the last unless the state of Illinois and Cook County decide to get on board and take these allegations seriously and deal with these lawsuits that we have filed. Today, we're filing on behalf of another 272 individuals who were abused while housed in one of these facilities. 40 of those were female. This has to stop. It has to stop. It has to be dealt with. You will see the new allegations name 2 perpetrators by the name of Mark Duff and Barnett Gill. These 2 gentlemen were prosecuted for the horrors that they placed upon at least one of their survivors. However, we know that there are numerous other victims of those 2 individuals, and they were never prosecuted for those. The state has to begin prosecuting these individuals. We have provided names, we have provided detailed information. It has to be taken seriously, and it has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with now. I'm going to turn over to Jerome Block, and he's going to talk in more detail with some of the allegations and complaints.
In these cases, in these hundreds of cases of childhood sexual abuse at Illinois juvenile detention centers, we have identified more than 30 staff member perpetrators who have been identified by multiple victims. There are perpetrators who've been identified by 12 people, 6 people, 4 people. There are perpetrators who have been convicted for childhood sexual abuse at these facilities, but new cases have now come forward. Our clients, these survivors of sexual abuse, have questions for the governor and the attorney general of this state. What are you doing to hold these perpetrators accountable? What are you doing to fix the system to make sure that children at Illinois youth centers and at the Cook County Juvenile Facility are safe? The Attorney General of this state in May of 2023 issued a 700-page report about sexual abuse that occurred at the hands of Catholic priests and clergy members. The Attorney General of this state said in his own words that institutions have to be held accountable when they betray the public trust. And staff members at juvenile facilities sexually abusing children is just as much a violation of the public trust, if not more, than when it's perpetrated by Catholic priests. So when the Attorney General, Kwame Raoul of this state, focused on investigating the Catholic Church and calling out those abuses, the Attorney General should be summoning those same resources, because the lives of these survivors are just as important, and their voices should be heard. And the juvenile facilities have to be fixed, or this sexual abuse is going to keep happening year after year and decade after decade. The Attorney General said, you need to shine a light on sexual abuse. You need to expose this so it stops. That's what the Attorney General did when it was the Catholic Church. But how about the Attorney General's own client, the state of New York, or the state of Illinois? What about the Attorney General's own client, the state of Illinois? The Attorney General right now has lawyers fighting these cases. The Attorney General should be investigating these cases. We have not heard anything of substance from the governor. We have heard nothing of substance from the Attorney General. Hundreds of people sexually abused in government-operated facilities, and we've heard nothing of substance from the governor and the Attorney General. Our clients want to know that their voices are being heard and that something is being done. Something is being done to provide justice for them, and that something is being done to fix the system. Our clients don't want children to continue to be sexually abused in Illinois juvenile facilities. So the governor and the Attorney General should be reading these complaints. They should see the names we've identified. They should be investigating these perpetrators and prosecuting them. Our clients want justice, they want accountability, and they want sexual abuse in Illinois juvenile facilities to end.
Hello, my name is Dr. Muhammad. I was a sexual assault victim at the hands of 4 employees at 2 Illinois Food Center. I was only 15 years old when it started. Even 2 decades later, I still have nightmares about the incident. I felt scared and confused, and my abuse affected my relationship with the people around me. I'm speaking to you today because I want to bring awareness to the sexual abuse and corruption going on at Illinois youth centers. I want to thank Allah for finally giving us justice after all these years. I pray this never happens to anyone again. Thank you all for your time.
Hello, my name is Michael Moss, and I'm here to speak on behalf of all my fellow victims that have been through these tough times at these Illinois juvenile facilities. When I was 17, I made a few mistakes and ended up at the Audi home. The employees of the Cook County beat me, threatened me, and sexually abused me. I wouldn't wish my situation on anybody. I hope that justice is granted for the pain and suffering we all went through as kids. I have a wife and 2 kids, and even now I feel so difficult at times to even talk about it. I went through what I went through because it was shame. It was a lot of shame and a lot of guilt and a lot of pain that I felt over a few decades. I would like to thank the legal team, and I would like to extend their hand out for those who have been through what I've been through. I am here today to speak for my peers and to speak for my peers that have been through what I've been through. I know it is a hard time and hard to come forward, and I hope others will find the strength to come forward through those efforts. If anybody else is going through what we went through, don't be afraid to speak out. We are here to get justice, and we are here for you. I thank y'all.
I want Governor Pritzker to look at the faces that stand behind me and realize those are real human beings. What if it were your children, your nephews, your nieces, your loved ones that went through the same thing? What would you be doing in that case? Governor Pritzker came out after our first filing and said, this didn't happen on my watch, but let me look into it. It continues to happen today. We know that. We have at least 7 individuals that have been sexually abused in one of these facilities since Governor Pritzker took office. It has to stop. Keep this in mind, there is still one individual employed that we know of in the juvenile justice system. That individual is named in the complaint, and you can get more details about it. That individual has made over almost $500,000 in the last 3 years in state money, and he's abused children. This has to stop, and we have to be heard. Are there any questions?
I was wondering if Michael or one of the other survivors would speak just about the effect this had on your life and the decision to speak out.
I mean,
And Michael, can you spell your name for us if you don't mind?
yes, Michael Moss, MICHAEL-MOSS. I would like to say it's hard. It's pain, it's a lot of everything whatever you want to think of. So it's not so easy for someone to speak on their own behalf or anybody else's behalf. What we go through, we don't wish it on anybody. We just hope that justice is actually granted. And for whoever did anything to anybody or threatened or whatever circumstance, we just hope that it doesn't keep going on.
Michael, I don't want to ask you to talk about things that you're not comfortable with, but I'm sure that at the time, especially you're a child, and, you like you said, you make mistakes, you were, being punished for those mistakes, but then when this happens, was there a feeling of guilt on your part, like maybe you deserved this, did you always know it was wrong? I mean, there must have been a lot that you were going through at the time.
I mean, yes, I know what they did was wrong. I know the mistakes that I've made to get to that predicament, but at the same time, no one deserves it. What we deserve is, I could say, discipline at its best. Other than that, it shouldn't be no one that actually have to do those terrifying things to anyone.
Mr. Muhammad, would you like to say anything else? No. Would you just tell us how to spell your name if you don't mind?
ADAFIMUHAMMAD.
And Michael, you were 17, right?
Yes, I was.
How long were you there?
3 years.
How old are you now?
I'm 30.
What was the facility, Michael?
The Audi home as well as the Cook County. And I was still a minor at the time.
So you went in at 17 and you went out at 20?
I don't think that's what he said.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, 'cause he said he was
Yeah,
there for 3 years, that's so I'm confused.
Can we do a follow-up with
Okay.
any other questions for Michael? Does anyone have any other questions, just general questions that would apply to the cases or the group? We'd be happy to answer them.
So you mentioned, and Todd, you mentioned that there are 272 people that are being represented in these 3 lawsuits. There 200 is there any overlap between them?
Yes, okay, so if you read the complaints, you will see, for example, the complaints we filed yesterday and the complaints we previously filed. You will see some commonalities. You'll see that at least 12 people have identified a correctional officer with the last name of Williams, who went by the nickname Catbag. You'll see that 4 women have identified Barnett Gill, who was previously convicted for sexually abusing at least 1 girl at the same facility at IYC Warrenville. You'll see that 3 women have identified Mark Duff, who was previously convicted of sexually abusing at least 1 girl at IYC Warrenville. You will see Mayor Rocky James, who has been identified by multiple victims, at least 6. So as these cases are filed, as more people come forward, there are more abusers being identified by multiple victims independently, and those accounts really corroborate each other and should be of great concern to both the state and Cook County.
I guess my question is, because I was going over the lawsuits earlier, and, for example, one of the lawsuits is against Cook County, and it's filed, if I counted correctly, on behalf of 48 people. The third lawsuit is also against the state, but specifically referring to folks that were incarcerated in Cook County, and that is on behalf of 13 claimants. So I guess my question is, are there some of the same people that are claimants in both of those two lawsuits?
Okay, right. So 3 lawsuits were filed, 222 involving sexual abuse that occurred at Illinois youth centers. Those cases are against the state and state agencies. 50 were filed in Cook County Circuit Court. Those cases arose out of Audie Home, Cook County Juvenile Temporary Detention Center. Some of those 50 people, a subset of them, around 13, also filed a case against the state because they were sexually abused at the Audie Home during years where the state had some responsibility for that county facility. And that was because the authority of Cook County with that facility was either removed or limited during certain years because they weren't operating it in a responsible manner. So the state, had some responsibility, and so there is some joint responsibility, we believe, between the state and Cook County in later years, and that's the reason for that third lawsuit.
Okay. And you mentioned that the state has to begin prosecuting individuals and that you've provided names. Have any of them been prosecuted?
We have seen no action taken by the state or Cook County to deal with these cases in terms of the criminal side. They have not contacted us, asking us to cooperate with any criminal investigation, and we've seen no sign whatsoever that they're doing anything to investigate these perpetrators to potentially move forward on criminal cases. We believe that when names are reported in a publicly filed complaint, that it should be investigated. And like I said before, it should be investigated with the same vigor or more than they investigated Catholic priests. I mean, we know the Attorney General's office has a whole team, a whole unit that worked to do the investigation that produced a 700-page report about the Catholic Church. So we know that they have the capacity and the expertise that if they're taking these cases seriously, they really need to look into cleaning their own house the same way they clean the house of the Catholic Church.
Have any results, maybe even in other states, of what you expect to happen with the Court of Claims lawsuits? How long are they taking? Are payouts happening?
Yeah, I mean, we believe that the state has a lot of control about how these cases are dealt with. The state can choose to deal with this in terms of, cleaning their house, really investigating it, making sure that their system is changed, making sure that survivors receive fair compensation for what they've suffered, and making sure this doesn't happen in the future, or they could litigate this in a aggressive, scorched earth manner, and we'll see trials and we'll see verdicts, and the case could go on for a longer time. But again,
What's happened previously, since this isn't the first time you've done this?
well, every state is different, but the state of Illinois so far, we've heard from their lawyers. We haven't heard from the governor or the attorney general themselves. And when there's a mass disaster in a state or a city, usually the leaders speak and have something supportive to say to the victims. Here in this case, this is a different kind of mass disaster. This is hundreds of people that had the worst type of trauma inflicted on them as children, and there's really been no statements of substance from the governor and attorney general, and I can't tell you why that is.
What's the total number of victims you're representing?
So the total number of cases filed from May 2024 to the present day, today, which is a period of less than 5 months, 667 men and women who were sexually abused as children at Illinois juvenile facilities have filed their cases up to today.
How many separate lawsuits is that?
It's, I don't know exact, I mean, I think it's something on the order of like six or seven, but we can get all of those to you.
And those are 667 cases, but like you mentioned, there is some overlap in some of them. So we have people that are mentioned in multiple.
Yes, there is some overlap, and we could send you all the complaints, and you're free to, they're word searchable. So,
Yeah, but they're initials. So I mean, my
yeah.
question is like, how many actual individuals?
Individuals, 667.
Okay,
Yeah, we're not double counting.
that's what I'm.
667 separate men and women, yeah.
Okay.
So we're here to answer more factual questions, any factual follow-up, but unless there's something else anyone needs to ask on camera in front of the group, we'll end the conference now.
We're just gonna ask you guys because you didn't spell your names at the beginning.
Sure.
And the names of your law firm.
Sure. Could we go off camera or?
No, we need to.
Oh, yeah, yes. Jerome Block, Levy Konigsberg, Levy, Konigsberg LLP, Jacob Jordan, JACOB, Jordan, JORDAN.
And Todd Matthews, MATHEWS, one team last name, Bailey Glasser, BAILEYGLASSER.
And Jerome, traditional spelling, because you only spelled your law firm, you didn't spell your name.
Oh, JEROME, you can go to our website if you want, but yeah. JEROME.
Camera.
Oh, sure. Jerome Block, JEROME, last name BLOCK, Levy Konigsberg, you got that? We're good.
We need this because people back at the station may listen to it
label.
and they need to
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
We don't want a phone call.
You got
and
it.
somebody saying you misspelled my
Yes,
name.
that's true. That's true. I would forgive you, but yeah.
Thank you all for coming today.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah.